Hey guys, it's Daniel, licensed therapist. You know the question I get asked all the time when people find out I'm a therapist? Are you analyzing me? And I always answer the same, of course not. But you know what? I'm lying. Of course I'm always analyzing everything. Okay, maybe I'm not constantly analyzing everyone, but I see people with a different understanding being trained in psychology and having talked to so many people in a therapeutic setting. So it's not like something I can turn off. And this also applies to when I watch movies. I just naturally notice when characters are written psychologically inconsistent. Typically, these are just minor annoyances and I just let it slide. But sometimes a character's upbringing and current thoughts and behaviors mismatch so poorly that it really bothers me. A perfect example of this is the movie Black Panther. T'Challa in the comics is a certified badass, and rightfully so. He was born and bred to be the king of Wakanda. He is the heralded leader of one of the richest, most influential nations in the Marvel world. Not only is he the leader, but he just so happens to be the best warrior in this country of warriors. So needless to say, I was excited when I heard Black Panther was coming to the big screen because I was expecting the alpha of alphas. And that is exactly what I got in Civil War.
We haven't met yet. I'm Clint.
I don't care.
This was cool. And I feel like this line summed up his character in the movie. He was like a wrecking ball. He was a man on a mission, and there was not a shred of self-doubt or weakness. He came into this situation fighting superheroes with superpowers, and he didn't care. And it was awesome. This portrayal of Black Panther exceeded my expectations, and I was excited to see more. So imagine my disappointment when we were introduced to the character in his own movie like this.
No need, Okoye. I can handle this alone. I will get Nakia out as quickly as possible.
Just don't freeze when you see her.
What are you talking about? I never freeze.
For me, this showed a total lack of respect. The way she says, seems patronizing, right? It made him look like a boy instead of a king who commands respect. She might as well have rolled her eyes and said, okay. Let's compare and contrast this with a classic clip from The King and I. You can tell that this guy commands respect, and he would have never received the kind of treatment T'Challa got. But the king in this clip also indicates to us that he's not mean or cruel. He's a good guy, and that's demonstrated in a few seconds. Let's get back to Black Panther. Now, this next scene really bothered me a lot.
This one's just a boy. He got kidnapped as well.
Nakia. Hi. I want it.
Hey! I have her. Don't move. I will shoot. Wallahi, I will shoot her right now.
He froze.
So what, he froze? He doesn't know how to talk to girls? This guy grew up as the crown prince and is now the king, and he can't talk to his ex-girlfriend? And the hubris of this lady rubbing it in his face that he froze. And what was his response to that? Imagine this. You grew up as a prince in your high school. Not only that, you were the baddest dude on campus. And not only that, you were amazingly good looking and super buff. You think you would have any problems getting the attention of women? Think of the most powerful men in the world. The President of the United States, the President of Russia, the President of China, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk. Do you think any of these people would have problems interacting with the opposite sex? Well, T'Challa is just as powerful, but would beat all those guys up at one time. And we're supposed to believe that he would have such a glaring insecurity? At this point, Black Panther is starting to look really pathetic and kind of like an idiot. A huge departure from who he was in Civil War. But wait, it gets worse.
Anyway.
Not that hard, genius!
You told me to strike it. You didn't say how hard.
I invite you to my lab, and you just kick things around.
Well, maybe you should make it a little stronger. Hey, wait a minute.
The nanites absorb the kinetic energy and hold it in place for redistribution.
Very nice.
Strike it again in the same spot.
You're recording.
For research purposes.
Delete that footage.
Hey everybody, let's have a good laugh at the king's expense. And I guess it was nice that he didn't pull rank and let her have it. So, okay, I guess the king of Wakanda is a nice guy. I would totally get it if he was a guy who grew up in the suburbs of Colorado and was a school teacher or something like that. But this guy grew up in a warrior culture and was probably fighting since he was a child. There is no way he is a nice guy.
Baba, Onyanawan. I'm sorry. Stand up. You are a king.
Yeah, stand up. You're a king. I feel like this guy didn't get the memo. Was that the first time he heard that he was supposed to be king and he really shouldn't be kneeling to people? I mean, this should be ingrained in him since birth. But does this scene remind anyone of another famous scene? Let me give you a hint. Africa at night. A young prince who lost his way speaking to his dead father. Big cats. Yes, this is just like the scene with Simba and Mufasa from The Lion King. You remember that song young Simba used to sing? I just can't wait to be king. Simba knew it from when he was a little cub, and no matter what that sassy parrot Zazu said, his identity as king was unshakable, even as a little child, as it should have been. But this scene in The Lion King was necessary because Simba was such a young, impressionable cub when he got lost and his whole identity was changed. So he needed this to re-solidify his identity as king. T'Challa, on the other hand, was singing I Just Can't Wait to Be King his whole entire life. His identity as king should have been solid as a rock, but it's more fragile than little cub Simba. It makes no sense. To see him so insecure of himself and kneeling and being the butt of jokes, fumbling over his own words and allowing people around him to disrespect him, it's just baffling. Now let's contrast all of this with what I think Black Panther really should have been like.
You know where I'm from. When black folks started revolutions, they never had the firepower or the resources to fight their oppressors. Where was Wakanda? You know, that ends today. We got spies embedded in every nation on Earth, already in place. I know how colonizers think, so we're gonna use their own strategy against them. We're gonna send vibranium weapons out to our war dogs. They'll arm oppressed people all over the world so they can finally rise up and kill those in power and their children and anyone else who takes their side.
It's time they know the truth about us. We're warriors. The world's gonna start over, and this time we're on top.
The sun will never set on the Wakandan Empire.
Wakanda has survived for so long by fighting when only absolutely necessary.
Wakanda survived in the past this way, yes. But the world is changing, General. And this, it is getting smaller. The outside world is catching up, and soon it will be the conquerors or the conquered. I'd rather be the former.
You heard your orders. Let's get to it.
Now that's what I'm talking about. No jabs at this guy. No eye rolling, no uh-huhs. He is commanding total respect. I don't know if he's right or wrong, but I think you can see the difference in the way he carries himself and how others respond to him. So, what can explain this abysmal failure in consistency? If you watch a movie and the character makes sense and is well written, then you just get sucked into the story. But when it doesn't make sense, you look straight through the character and you see the writer. This is my theory. The writer is projecting his own insecurities and psyche onto T'Challa, which would account for the vast difference we see between T'Challa in Civil War and the T'Challa from Black Panther. And being a nosy guy, I did a little digging into the writer, and what did I find? Something very interesting. This writer-director his first movie was Fruitvale Station, a tiny but well-received movie. His second movie was Creed, which is a much bigger movie, and guess what his third movie was? Black Panther. So he went from tiny independent film to gigantic Marvel blockbuster in a couple projects. So if you ask me, it might as well have been him kneeling at the feet of Kevin Feige saying, I don't know if I can write and direct this movie. So he inserted himself as the hero of his own movie. But unfortunately, it doesn't match the character of Black Panther at all. And now we have this psychologically inconsistent mess. So, mystery solved. That felt good. I've been holding that in for years, and I'm always looking for things to react to. So if you have anything you would like me to react to or analyze, please leave it in the comments below. I thank you for listening, guys. Goodbye.